We're live. Oh no.
Scandalo.
Oh boy, it's getting close to that Christmas time.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah. We we had the talk here at the house and with my parents about so COVID and Christmas. So what's gonna happen? Yeah, I think we're all mostly on the same page. But
Mhm.
I think there are a couple of real close hits uh, in and around my family now with it. So yeah, like I'm if I see my brother, it'll probably be like in the same kind of in the same vein as it was when I saw him. I guess it was late spring for the first time when it all went down. He was kind of going stir crazy, and he and his wife Sean they made up a batch of uh, pudding shots, froze them, put them in a cooler, drove around, went to people's houses, and put a pudding shot down on the porch. Said, "That's for you. We're gonna do shots together." Sean drove and he did the shots.
It's
Like,
wild times, man. You gotta do what you can.
yeah, and I was like, you know what? That was a pretty great way to do that.
Yeah.
So we might have to be doing things like that for Christmas this time around.
I've had 3 people make food for me and drop it off at my house this week.
Wow,
Yeah. I actually don't know why that is.
they're telling you something.
Yeah. Uh, it's definitely not that I look like I've been starving. That's definitely not what they're telling me. Because that's not true.
It's the gift of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, except it's like casseroles and
Yeah. Chicken tortilla soup and
ooh,
cookies. Mm-hmm.
nice, very nice,
Mm-hmm.
solid gifts all around.
Oh,
All right, so let's just jump right in. Hey, this is Tony.
and this is David.
We are the backseat producers,
Yep.
and this week we're talking about Project Power,
Mm-hmm.
and next week we're going to talk about Jojo Rabbit.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you've said so far.
They are all facts.
Agreed.
Now let's get to some opinions.
Mm.
What did you think of Project Power?
About midway through this movie, Tony, I was curious what about this movie prompted you to pick the movie.
Uh, it was a movie I hadn't seen,
Mm.
and it looked vaguely superhero-ish, and I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Jamie Foxx tends to pick some pretty decent projects to attach himself to.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like it was a safe bet for for that combination of things.
Okay.
My opinion of it was I did not have high expectations going into it. Netflix movies don't. I don't have high expectations of Netflix movies anymore.
What have you been burned by?
Uh, what the fuck was that one we watched? That like the concepts are always good,
Hmm?
but they always just kind of fall apart at some point. Mute was it
Mute?
not mute? Yes, but also what was the Will Smith orc movie
Did
from
we
last
watch
year?
that?
No, I don't know that we watched it, but I watched it. It was
Oh.
where it was like a fantasy version of Alien Nation.
Yeah, I know exactly what movie you're talking about, but I get Bright.
Bright, thank you. I knew it was a one-word title.
Yep.
Like it was a good concept, but it just kind of fell apart.
I didn't watch it because it looked dreadful.
Yeah. It wasn't dreadful, but it did just kind of fall apart.
Well, the thing with the Netflix movies I've found is like it has to have a pretty solid premise before I'll watch it. Like the movie with Dick Slappin', what the fuck is that guy's name? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, with the Robert Redford movie?
No, what the fuck is that guy's name? Yes, the Robert Redford movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Jason Segel.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie?
The Knowing, The Happening, The Discovery.
Yes, The Discovery. That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one.
We got there eventually. Yeah, so like the premise of that was really, really compelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the movie was great, right? But like the premise of the movie has to be super compelling before I'm going to get into it. Like Bright, the premise of Bright did not strike me as super compelling, even though I'm a fantasy nerd.
Yeah. It was a good choice. You avoided that one. I'm pretty sure you would not have liked it.
Let's see. Let's look through some of the Netflix original movies and see. Ooh, if you just Google Netflix original movies, it'll give you a big, long list. I haven't watched most of these.
There are a lot of them because they pick up a lot of foreign films also.
Mm-hmm. I have really gotten into watching some of the Spanish stuff. Just because, like when you think of foreign movies, and even foreign movies we've watched, I don't think we've ever watched a movie that's been in Spanish.
I don't believe so. I'm trying to think of it, and I don't believe so.
Because I know we've done French and I think Russian. Because didn't we do Night Watch, Day Watch? Didn't we do those?
I'm not sure. I don't remember Day Watch or Night Watch. Way back in the day, Deuce and I did the original Solaris, which was French.
So we've done a bunch of French movies, apparently.
I'm sorry, not French. That was Russian. My bad. Russian.
Okay, so French and Russian. But I don't think we've ever done anything in Spanish. I think we've done Japanese or Chinese for something.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we did Crouching Tiger.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember Crouching Tiger. I don't think we did that.
Jesus, did we do Kung Fu Hustle?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
we did do Kung Fu Hustle.
All right.
And, maybe we should add Parasite to the list because I was kind of wanting to see that one. I heard
me too.
I haven't seen it, and I've heard such good things about it.
Mm-hmm. I've also heard really goddamn good things about it. Yeah, looking through these Netflix.
Yeah, I'm looking through also. We did Mute.
Mm-hmm. Enola
Holmes, which we just recently did.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they gotta have a super compelling premise, and a lot of like Dolomite Is My Name did not have a compelling premise for me.
And now, see, I might see that one.
I feel like I also watched IO. Did we do IO?
I don't recall doing IO.
We didn't do IO, but I think we should do IO.
Okay.
Because IO is good. A young scientist who searches for a way to save dying Earth. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Maybe I should start making a list.
We had a list at one point.
We did at one point have a list. So IO, Parasite, compelling podcasting here. Mm-hmm. Me writing words down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, basically list making.
So you you'd never said what you thought of the movie aside from you wondered why I chose it.
Yeah, that was
That was what you thought?
yeah. So it was all right. It was an all right movie. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be, like almost the entire way through. Like
it did have a few surprises for me, but not in the things I should have been surprised about. Like the surprises in the superhero genre part of it, there were no surprises in that. Like that all hit exactly the way I kind of felt like it would. The surprises for me came with I'm blanking on her name. Dominique Fishback's character. That like her, like that she was a rapper, and like that was a drive for her, and I kind of liked that. Like it was unexpected,
sure,
but I liked it. Like
yeah,
because it was different. I mean, it just felt different.
It was different, and also it had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. It was just a thing about her.
Yeah. Well, it also kind of informed why she wasn't interested in taking the drugs. That was part of her motivation for not taking the drugs.
I mean, like the first time they ask her, she's like, "Yeah, I saw somebody OD. I'm not about that life."
Well, that too.
I was like, "All right, I don't. That's fair."
That's a solid answer.
Yeah, that's good enough for me for forever.
Yeah.
No.
One thing that I found interesting was I started comparing it to like early Marvel movies because it's kind of a superhero story that avoided the origin story ness of it. I mean, it referenced it, it talked about it, but it didn't go full origin story for anybody.
Sure.
And I saw Evan's comment before I watched it. So when we posted the preview last week that we were going to talk about this tonight, Evan Brown commented that he said it was a pretty solid film. I liked it, would have loved it if it had been a series, so it could have been richer in development. We could have seen the world and people's powers explored a bit more. I can see it being a TV show, but it feels like it would be like the special effects would have been pretty lousy because it would have been like a USA TV series. Like they would have to really save up that special effects budget for the right time. With clever writing, you can get around it, but
yeah, and the thing is, like, without the special effects were cool, and they made like the powers interesting. But I feel like if you had slightly less fluid special effects, like the powers were not going to be all that particularly interesting.
No.
Like, I mean, because it's just like a basic set of like basic superpowers.
Right. Yeah.
And like the thing that I started thinking about in the middle of this is, what do you think is humanity's like deep pursuit of this like superpower situation? Like, because I realize now in the last 5-10 years, Marvel has kind of like become so pervasive in our culture, but like it's not just Marvel. Like, we've been chasing this like superpower situation in narration for like ever.
Yeah. I think part of it's just the idea of having a hero, having someone above, better than, something to strive to. I mean, the early hero myths were all about the superpowers.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But they made them demigods. You know, it had to be somebody set aside and apart and other from humanity. They couldn't just be a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost feels like for that they understood that if it was just a normal guy, that you'd set people up to feel bad about themselves. So it had to be like it had to have been a Heracles or um, an Achilles or somebody who had powers that weren't just because of who. I mean, they were because of who they were. It was because of their parentage, but it was because their parents were gods, one of their parents was a god. So you wouldn't have seen somebody like a Batman, for example, whose superpower is really just that he's rich. I mean, he's intelligent, he's driven.
I mean, he's a perfect physical specimen.
Yeah, but he can only achieve that because of his wealth and his ability to just do that. Just train.
Sure, but we have rich people and we don't have any Batmans.
No, we don't. But I mean, maybe if you murdered a rich person's parents when they were little, maybe put them in a shitty city full of crime, which, all right, that's pretty much everywhere. But
yeah. Then I just sort of would go down that tangent of like, why do we keep making movies like this? But that's about as far as I got down that track.
We keep making movies like that because the material's already there. They don't have to create anything new. The technology to do the special effects has made it so much easier to be able to produce it, even if it's expensive. But the ROI, but the ROI on it's there. I mean, people are paying the money to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, this movie wasn't, aside from being new material, this could have easily fit into the genre of Marvel and DC movies as far as what was happening, the story that was being told. I even kind of dug Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking take this drug because it levels the playing field. And his chief was like, all right, you need to give me your badge. He's like, yeah, but what, you wanted me dead? Because if I wouldn't have taken the drug, I would have been dead. Like, he would have just killed me.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that plot either. I mean, I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I like the characters. It's just that this was basically Limitless plus Marvel.
Yes.
But I don't feel like they went in a direction that wasn't just either of those two things, like just those two things put together, which is like I already have both of those things individually, and like Limitless is the best Limitless I'm gonna get, which like it's not
right.
It's not even a good goddamn movie. And Marvel is what it is.
The Limitless TV show was better than the Limitless movie.
I can't argue with you. I've never seen it, but that movie was terrible.
I like the movie, but the TV show was a fuck ton more compelling because it actually explored like the cost of using it, and the machinations of the people behind those who were creating the drug and supplying the drug. And that one, I actually really enjoyed the TV show and was kind of kind of bummed that it didn't get a second season. And they tied it to the movie. Like it wasn't just a remake of the movie. It was a full on sequel to the series. Bradley Cooper showed up in the TV show as the same character that he played in the movie. Which I was actually kind of surprised that he was in the TV show. They mentioned him a few times, and then all of a sudden he just showed up as like, whoa, wait, what?
Oh yeah, you didn't get any like Marvel defenders. Oh, the big green guy smashed up New York.
Right.
Oh, we got a lawyer uptown. You can't see. Oh, fucking come on.
Yeah. Though there's a solid rumor going around right now that Charlie Cox is going to be the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I saw that. That's fine. I mean, he's a fine Daredevil. I'm not going to get any more Jessica Jones, which is the real tragedy.
Have they confirmed that?
I mean, they haven't done anything with it.
No. We got 3 seasons out of it, which is
a lot.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, for a character that even a lot of comic book fans aren't.
But it was
it was good. It was real good. That was the Marvel show that Julie watched.
That was the one to watch. Yep.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch one, that was a good one to watch.
That one followed by the first half of season 1 of Luke Cage. Like, that's where to do it.
Yep.
Oh, Mahershala Ali.
I liked the Kingpin stuff in the 3rd season of Daredevil too, because there's been talk of who's going to play Kingpin in
the MCU.
The MCU. I really would like D'Onofrio back in the role. I think he did a good job.
Oh, but I hate D'Onofrio.
He was a good Kingpin, though.
He was a fine Kingpin.
Another name that people were tossing around in an article I read was I can't remember his name, but it's the guy who played the Mountain.
Thor. Halfrosworld.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I don't remember his name.
Thor the Mountain. Hat for Julius Bjornsson.
There you go.
That dude is only 32 years old. Actually, I don't really know why I'm surprised by that. I don't really know. I don't know.
Well, considering he's still active in the physical competition stage, at some point your age starts catching up with you, and you can be a physically chiseled specimen without doing the powerlifting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you start doing some damage to your body.
I believe he is the smallest of his brothers.
Oh my god!
Yes, that is accurate. He is the smallest of his brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Their poor mother.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You have to believe that woman just can rule them, though.
Yeah, no shit. The mountain becomes the hill next to his brothers.
Wow. Wow.
That's good
okay,
stuff.
so the concept of this movie is that there is a pill that you can take that is both pill and technology, which is weird. Like that, it's one of those don't think about it too hard kind of concepts.
I also don't know why it matters. Like, it could just been a fucking pill.
Yeah.
There was nothing about it that needed the technological twist.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they said, "Oh, there's a chemical reaction that happens when you twist the pill,"
but don't.
They don't. Which is weird though, because like they keep making a point of saying, "Oh, we're going to make it permanent. We're going to figure out how to make it permanent." But also, it apparently genetically affected Jamie Foxx's character such that his daughter has natural powers.
So I thought the evolution there was Jamie Foxx was experimented on as part of the military experiments. Then he popped out that kid, and that's what got passed on to her. And that's why she is the source of
Right. Is she the source of it?
Yeah. That's why they got that's
Oh,
why
I
they're
missed that.
extracting shit from her to make the stuff.
I must have missed that. Because I gotta admit, there was a point in this movie where I just started checking out because the plot wasn't making a tremendous amount of sense.
No.
I was in for the ride.
I was in
I
for the
was
ride too. Like,
I had a fun. I mean, it was a fun movie.
it was a fun movie.
But like it had that same early Marvel effect of this is just a story that you're going to tell me, and I'm here for it, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to follow along. Like, and I watched this movie. I watched it yesterday, and like 3 hours after I watched the movie, I was like, "What movie are we talking about tomorrow?" Like, it took me like 2 or 3 minutes of thinking about it to remember what movie we were talking about tonight. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't stick with me.
I couldn't remember, and so then I went to Netflix and I just searched for Michael B. Jordan, and I'm like, I know, I know that Tony said it was Michael B. Jordan, and I'm like, fuck, it's not Michael B. Jordan.
No, no, no. Yeah, it's a fun movie, but it's ultimately pretty forgettable.
Yeah, you can't look at anything with any amount of scrutiny at all,
No, no. Like,
which is
vi-
fine because, like, I thought midway through the movie, I was like, okay, I guess I can kind of see this as like I can see that there might be a compelling allegory going on here, like a commentary on like the exploitation of black bodies for like power, but that wasn't I think that was something I was trying to fit onto this that was not there at all.
no,
But I
no.
feel like with some change, like with some slight changes, like they've got a lot of the elements there to actually do that commentary. And like you're right, Jamie Foxx does pick projects that like he picks projects, not movies, a lot of the
Yeah,
time. Like Django Unchained was like a movie that had some things to say about some stuff, right?
yeah.
So like I thought maybe we were gonna get there when some of these pieces fell into place, but there were no pieces.
Well, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt tends to pick things at least that have some brains behind them,
Mm-hmm.
some thought to it.
Yeah, like Looper is Looper's a weird movie.
Yeah. What was funny is in watching this, there were a few scenes where I was watching him,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it's just his style or if he was aping some Bruce Willis in it. But like there were scenes it was like, oh my God, he's being Bruce Willis now. Like
Yeah.
there was just some of his actions, some of the twist of his head. I don't know what it was, but
Mm-hmm.
it just gave me a very strong Bruce Willis vibe.
Probably he couldn't break out of Looper.
Yeah, you're in the loop, you can't get out.
I mean, he did do like a self-imposed exile from making movies for a couple years, so like that's probably it. He's just I've been suffering as Bruce Willis for too long.
No, I
I
just
got
have to
Bruce,
full on make a Bruce Willis movie to get out of it.
I got
It's like when
Bruce
you
Willis disease.
it's like when you have a song stuck in your head. The only way to get it out is just to listen to the whole song.
Mm-hmm. Does that actually work for you? That doesn't work for me.
It works for me. It most often works for me if like I'm in the car and listening to music and I halfway finish a song and I like get out of the car and go in the house or whatever. And something about my brain just wants to finish the song.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
yeah,
I
that
just
makes
keep the lyrics just keep looping in my head until the song finishes. And if
mm-hmm.
I know the song well enough, I can just the
Yeah.
words all finish in my head and I'm done. There's some of them that like I got to just
Mhm.
listen to the song and clear it out.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yep.
Hmm.
And I thought the acting was all good. The
Yeah.
act it felt like there was a story there that these actors were sold
Mm-hmm.
and then changes happened.
Yes. Like the three main actors are all incredibly talented.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so something must have happened. Like Hollywood, they had some bills due.
It could have been that. It could have been that, or it could have been just that producer got a hold of it and said, "All right," or maybe an executive producer, somebody with the money, said, "All right, that's great, but we can't do whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you're right, there was the potential for some really good commentary about how we're going to use the Black community to experiment on, to use them for their power. I mean, there's a couple of different threads there that you could use. We're gonna use drug dealers to use the disenfranchised people that we forced into a situation where they need drugs to escape, to give them a power which could potentially cause them to escape, but only for 5 minutes at a time. So it's really just going to destroy them. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot
like
of commentary
that's
there.
there.
It's
That's there.
there. The concept is there, but
That's
the
there.
execution it just doesn't
Mhm.
follow through.
And like I understand it from like Dominique Fishback's perspective because like she's not as well known as Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Jamie Foxx, right? Like she
Right.
can't dictate what she's gonna do, so she's just getting herself out there. But even still, like, just it just feels like there was something happened. Something happened with this, and then they're like, well, we can just turn this into an action film.
Right.
You know
Because
what?
even Joseph Gordon-Levitt's role, something was shortcutted there.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he wasn't on screen, he didn't exist. He wasn't a fully fleshed out character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we knew just enough about him that he was a cop and he was helping this girl, but also because she was his dealer. But like, how did that start?
Yeah, like
Why
what?
did he do that? Like, the motivations. Like, I could make up motivations, and they wouldn't be wrong because there's almost nothing there to counter anything you want to make up. So any headcanon you want to make about it, there's nothing contradictory just because there's nothing there.
Yeah, and you know what? Like that's a corrupt cop relationship or storyline that I'm tired of seeing these same two cop storylines where it's either the corrupt cops who are dicks or it's just the police being the police. Like I'm tired of both of those storylines, like both of those storylines, frankly. So like the corrupt cop who's like fine with like disenfranchised people and then like actually has a problem with like there's a decent storyline going on there, like could be going on there too.
Yeah, there's so many little hooks that should have been explored better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see this have been like this being the pilot, a couple of episode pilot to a series that you put somebody like Jamie Foxx in that lead role, get him in there, and then do the bait and switch of okay, but he's gone after the second or third episode.
Mm-hmm.
He has resolved his plot and moves on. You bring him back when you need to for ratings boost here and there, or when the story demands it. But then you tell the story of of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, who's now tracking this down, and maybe they stay in New Orleans. Maybe he's a man wandering the world, a la the '70s Hulk show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Sure.
He lost his job. He can't be a cop anymore because of the shit he did. All right, like there's potential there.
Mm-hmm. You want to hear my crazy Hollywood conspiracy theory?
Let's lay it on me.
You ready for this? Okay. So, in the last maybe 2 years, we've had a lot of compelling, heavily race influenced media. Like Watchmen was super race examination. Like that shit was tight.
Yeah.
And like everything they did with the first 2 seasons of American Gods, like there's a ton of race stuff in the like novelization I didn't expect to show up in the show, but fucking Orlando Jones made goddamn sure to bring it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this secret theory that there is this cabal of just general average entertainment, like this managerial entertainment level people who are like, our media is getting a little too black. We gotta tone it down. So, like for season 3 of American Gods, they got rid of Orlando Jones, and like Orlando Jones is like, this is very much racially motivated. It's like the director's like, there's been too much race stuff in this story. What? How is that possible?
Yeah, that's a weird situation. Like they should have done more to include a Nancy in season 3. I mean, we haven't seen season 3 yet.
Haven't seen season 3 yet, but they fired him, so I'm not really like super excited to watch it either.
Well, part of the problem is that section of the novel doesn't include a Nancy.
It doesn't.
It does. He's just not in it.
Because
this is the point in the novel where he goes to that
fucking town in Wisconsin.
That town. Yep. And there's a lot that happens there that has nothing to do with anything other than that town in Wisconsin. So yeah.
But also they spent a lot of time in Cairo with stuff that was not in the book.
That's true.
Really compelling.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good. I liked everything they've added to the mythos. Feels seamless.
Yeah.
Like if you've only read the first couple of chapters of the novel and you just hadn't gotten that far yet, like it doesn't feel like it's out of place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not in the least.
It doesn't feel like it's out of place, and like the cinematography is gorgeous. So not only does it not feel out of place, but it also feels like appropriately mythic. Like in the first episode when they go to Lynch Shadow, like the way that that's shot with the rain it's goddamn gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is.
It feels like epic. It feels like an epic, which really works for the whole godliness of the story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just have this secret, this is my wild left-wing conspiracy theory that like the average entertainment managerial level just kind of collectively decided that our media was getting too black. We had to tone it down.
Alternately, wild conspiracy theory, we're gonna push for more black media to combat the Me Too uprising.
But I think we would be seeing the result of that now. Because Me Too was what, 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, but look at, Watchmen happens about the right time. Not so much American Gods. This would have, because I think American Gods, the production of it predates any of Me Too.
It does,
like
but
it was already in production for season 1 by that point.
Orlando Jones doesn't really get going until season 2, though. Then he starts to ramp up in all the best ways.
Was the slave ship episode? Wasn't that in season 1?
I think it was the end of season 1.
Probably. Which is really good. Nancy coming to the U.S.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And then now we currently have Lovecraft Country.
I haven't watched that. I don't like Lovecraft.
Me neither.
I don't like the elder gods, the creeping madness stories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
The nihilism of it all. It's just it's not what I enjoy out of media. And I know that True Detective season 1 had influences from that.
Mm-hmm.
But it never felt the same to me. Like, I think it was obfuscated enough from it that it didn't get those things that, like, I don't want to see Cthulhu in anything. If I see Cthulhu in it, I'm out. Like, it takes me out of it.
Cthulhu appears in the first 30 seconds of the show.
Yeah.
The first 30 seconds are really good, though. They're really good.
Like, after the first couple of episodes aired and I heard people talking about it, I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll check it out. And like, as the episodes came out and people were talking more about it, it's like, all right, well, I'll probably check it out. Then I saw some image from the second to last or maybe last episode, and they're showing like some image of somebody like communing with Cthulhu or something. I don't know if it was just an artistic poster type image to advertise the show or what, but I saw that and I'm like, I don't need to see it.
I think I only watched like 3 episodes. Holy shit. But like the first episode is super creepy. And there's like Cthulhu-ish stuff that happens, but none of the Cthulhu stuff is the creepy stuff. It's all just basically 3 black people road tripping across America in the 30s. Like,
well, and when I heard that, like, that was compelling. That sounded good.
Oh, it's good. It's real goddamn really
good. This past season of Fargo was really good. So Fargo is an anthology series, so you don't need to watch, like, any one season is a complete story. You do not need to watch anything else. This season featured a storyline of the racial tensions that start off with the Irish and the Italians, but then very quickly blend in the racial tensions of the blacks. So like the Irish and Italians are these downtrodden peoples, and then Chris Rock comes in as the gang leader for this other the black mob in the 50s. The storyline starts a little earlier than that, and in the first episode or two, but we quickly settle into this story in the 50s in Kansas City. It's really good. It's really, really good. At one point, Timothy Oliphant shows up as a federal agent, a Mormon federal agent, and they're like, you know that there's a shoot on sight order for Mormons in Missouri, right? like it's apparently legal to murder Mormons in Missouri at some point. And it was like, wow. It was one of those things that I just didn't look up, because I've gotten to the point where there's certain media that I've come to just like, all right, I'm just going to accept that this is true, and if not, it's it's going to be true for the story you're telling me. The things I learned about U.S. history from fucking Watchmen was amazing. Like, I had no idea about
First 30 seconds. Yep.
Oh my god! Like,
Yep.
Julie and I watched it. It was like, oh, this has to just be for the show, right?
Turns
Like,
out,
sure, that makes sense. And then start looking it up, and it's like, oh my god, this is real.
like, oh my god, this is like one of 100 times that this happened that we just don't teach.
Yeah, we just don't know about.
Yeah. And let me qualify something I said earlier, because now I realize that's not what I meant. I don't mean to say that we haven't had compelling media heavily influenced by like an examination of race. What I mean to say is we don't have traditionally white, very mainstream media that heavily features an honest examination of race. And we've gotten that with some, like, with Watchmen, with American Gods, like Lovecraft Country. Like, we've actually gotten that in white media in a way that we haven't historically gotten that, I think.
Yeah. And I'll toss Fargo into that. This season of Fargo into that, because Chris Rock hasn't been like a major presence in a while. And when I heard he was doing Fargo, I'm like, I'm gonna watch that. I didn't watch the third season because it started to feel kind of samey to me, like in that weird Coen Brothers style.
Yeah.
It's all Noah Hawley, who did. Did you ever watch Legion, the TV show Legion? Good show, real fucking trippy, really trippy. But it kind of started feeling Coen Brothers samey to me. So like I didn't feel there was other good stuff on. I didn't need to have one more season that like I figured I could step out and maybe at some point I'll go back and watch it. After seeing this season, I probably will.
Yeah.
Because this one was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I found out Chris Rock was going to be in, I'm like, all right, I'm in. I want to see what he's got to say in this, and it was definitely worth the time.
I haven't watched any of Fargo, so at least, like, what am I even fucking doing with this pandemic?
Right?
Just wasting a bunch of time, eh, Romeo? No? All right. Oh.
Yeah, and Carrie Coon is also really.
Oh!
You didn't know she's in that?
No. You know how much I love Carrie Coon.
I know. She's been in the last couple seasons of Fargo.
God damn, she's so good.
She is so good, and in this season, like she has that full-on chameleon effect where like it's so different from anything else I've seen her do before. Yeah.
God damn it.
I won't even try to explain it to you because if you watch it, you'll see. It's like, oh my god, that is her.
Oh,
and that's just is what makes her as good as she is.
Oh, god damn, she's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, I'll toss it on my goddamn list.
It's 11 episodes. It's not a huge investment.
Mm-hmm.
And it just finished.
Yeah, Chippy's been talking about it too on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
About how amazing it is.
Yeah, they do some really cool visual stuff too, which I'm sure he could probably speak a lot more to than I could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That guy.
Yeah. 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 Back to the movie. It just felt like a really good concept
that either was gutted or they had a real shit script. Like, it went the other way. They had a real shit script, and like Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Dominique
Fishback.
Yeah, Fishback, like, sculpted what we got out of a real shit script. Like, it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me if that happened also, because with that talent pool, like,
Well, and like part of it, it felt like you had to have somebody like Dominique Fishback to be in that role
mhm,
because of the way her musical, her rap talents play into it.
mhm.
Like you're not just gonna hire some young black girl to do that. I mean, I guess if she's that talented of an actor, she could get there, but it just felt seamless the way she did it. Like it just felt like that was her.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like it didn't feel like an act.
She's not young either. She's like mid-20s, late 20s.
Really?
Yeah. Um,
Well, yeah, because there's no history of older people playing teenagers.
born March 22nd, 1991.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So she's
Yeah, she's
pushing
almost
30.
30.
We gotta send her a copy of Logan's Run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like, wow, if you Google her, the first people also ask is, can Dominic Fishback really rap?
And what's the answer?
Dominic Fishback had never rapped before, but after her
Really?
breakout performance in Project Power, no one would blame you for thinking otherwise.
Yeah. I guess I was just wrong about that because she was fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah. No, she was incredibly talented.
Yeah.
Why Project Power star Dominic Fishback left her audition with a $100 bill from Jamie Foxx?
That sounds like a good story, whatever it is.
Hmm. Uh, Jamie Foxx was so impressed by Fishback's rapping during her audition that he had to ask if she'd been perfecting the skill her entire life.
That's fantastic.
Apparently, she lost her wallet, didn't have like any of her credit cards or any money. Uh, and then like she did the interview and he was impressed, and then she's like, "I don't have any money. I lost my wallet." And he's like, "Oh, you need cash? Here's $100."
All right.
Wow, she didn't get the role originally. Somebody else had to drop out.
Wow.
Yeah. And the same day that they closed the deal for a movie, JetBlue said they found her wallet.
Wow.
Yeah. God damn.
So IMDb is messing with me. I looked up Project Power on IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently there's an IMDb series called IMDb on the Scene
Ew.
interviews. So I'm looking for Project Power, and the first thing is 2020. This movie. There's apparently a movie from 2014 called Project Power. It has nothing to do with this, just same name. And then there's Project Power 2020 TV episode, season 2, episode 81. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a TV series? Like I wasn't reading it the correct way at first.
Oh yeah, that just
It is an episode about this movie on the IMDb interview show.
good lord.
Yeah, that messed with me because I'm like, wait a minute, I would watch this series.
IMDb keeps pushing me to get like a paid account, but like what for what?
I had the premium account for a couple of months at one point because for some reason I don't even remember how it was like I applied for it. This
Mm-hmm.
was in the early days of and it wasn't even the early days. It was at some point they're like, "Oh, are you doing movie media, movie news? Apply for one." And so they gave me one for like 3 months or 6 months or something like that. They said, it's a premium account. It's at some point we're going to make it pay only.
Mm-hmm.
So with that premium account, you can you have the ability to edit movie listings.
Oh, okay.
Like that's one of the things you can do is you can edit the movie listings and suggest um, information. So if you ever look at movies and you'll see like all of the actors in a movie and then like some guy you've never heard of before, but with a headshot, and he's playing like researcher number 2, but like there's no researcher number 1 listed. You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's it's either that person or that person's agent went out there and attached their name and image to a profile, attach the profile to that movie or that TV show, um, trying to use that as leverage for
Yeah.
getting themselves more work. You know, if you see that person was in a movie, was in a Marvel movie. Oh, I was in Captain America. Well, who were you? I was soldier number 4, and then I was German soldier number 8. You know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, what an impressive body of work.
Yeah,
Playing unnamed soldier numbers.
yeah. So for a while, I actually had the ability to do that. I never touched it. I'm like, I'm not messing with it. Because apparently it also kind of goes through a screening process where you can do that, and then people will verify it, and then it gets authenticated and put out there. But it's also why you see a lot of movies that have just been announced, or that somebody mentions, oh, I'm working on such and such project.
Yeah.
You know, and those movies will sit out there for decades on those lists, and they may or may not ever happen. I was involved with this thing for a while in the early days of the interwebs. Hollywood Stock Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I also played around with it a little bit while we were still doing Backseat Box Office. It was a fun experiment. I think it's still out there. And if it is, I still have an account, because I know that when the last time I looked, the account was still active. The idea is that it's a stock exchange, but for film. Um, uh, Movies, actors are treated as bonds, where movies are treated as stock.
Mm-hmm.
And there's IPOs, and the IPOs are based on when a movie gets announced, when it gets enough like media heat behind it, they'll do an IPO for it. And then as movie news comes out about the movie, the stock price will go up and down. And the stock price is based on trading, much the same way that the stock exchange is. It's not artificially adjusted. It's adjusted based on the buying and selling of the stock. So like for a while, I think I bought the Doctor Strange movie at like a quarter a share, when an IPO can be like $20 a share. It's all funny money. It's not real money.
Yeah.
But I think that the Doctor Strange movie, when it cashed out at like $150 a share. So, but I bought it like before the first Captain America movie was released. Like Doctor Strange, sure, I'll buy a comic book movie. There's no way they're ever going to make
Why not?
Yeah, there's no way they're ever going to make a Doctor Strange movie. Aquaman, yeah, they're never going to make an Aquaman movie. So pretty much for a while there, any comic book movie I just bought. I just buy it all. And I know at some point I was quite wealthy with fake money.
Sounds like you were inside trading, Tony.
I was.
You and Martha Stewart and several sitting senators.
Hey, got to make that mad internet money somehow.
You don't become a pimp of the internet without having the financial backing.
Yeah. I don't think I have a whole lot else to say about this movie. It was fine.
Anything to say about this movie?
It was 2 hours worth of entertainment.
Yep.
I didn't feel like I wasted those 2 hours.
Yeah, I well also was doing something else while I was watching it, so definitely don't feel like I wasted it.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Shh.
I also felt like this could have been the plot of another superheroes movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of those three characters, you just have like I don't know, Daredevil busting up this ring of people who are taking this drug to give them superpowers.
Yep.
Or probably more accurately, Spider-Man, because Spider-Man tends to have this affinity for villains who are either named or have powers based on animals.
Hmm. Yeah.
That would have they could have easily been a Spider-Man plot.
Did you see that Alfred Molina is going to be Doctor Octopus again?
Yeah,
I am
that's
100% on board with that. I love Alfred Molina.
the casting of this movie is interesting to me. I have a feeling that they're going to do something similar to what they did with the Crisis on Infinite Earths CW crossover, where you just had they brought in just anybody who was in any kind of superhero media in the past, and they had them cameo in some way.
Mm-hmm.
You had Tom Welling reprise his role as Clark Kent.
That guy turned into a turd.
What do you mean?
He's just I don't know. He said something stupid. I don't even remember what he said. I just
I,
remember.
I must have missed that. He was on the whatever the most recent season of Lucifer there was.
Tom
Uh,
Welling sucks. Let's just Google that and see what it
there
says.
you go.
It's on here somewhere.
I'll let you continue looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but in Lucifer, he played Cain.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed him in that role.
I don't remember. Maybe he doesn't suck. I can't find what he said. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
All right, let's call it.
Yeah.
Uh, we have been the backseat producers, and this has been Project Power. And next week we will talk about Jojo Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Uh, we'll see you then.
See ya.